continuing with the old one, and as I already discussed about you regarding the request builder, which is quite a little bit missed in from the last. Even we discuss about the one example regarding that. There have one at server side. We created one servlet file, and we configured that file into our web.xml, which is under the web inf. So here we define the new servlet location, and we are calling from the get data that we already defined in the client side at this location. So once for server, here as you can see is I'm getting the base model URL, and after that I am attached with the get data. Through this I will get the complete URL of the servlet, and after that I am calling the methods which I define at the server side. So at server side I define the post method. We can use any kind of, it's not with the mandatory to be used with the only. So here I have the post, add a delete, put. You can, as per the requirement, we can use anyone. Like even if we are going to be uploading anything, so that time we need to use the corresponding one. Till now it's correct. And one more thing I just want to discuss with you is, so whenever we are using request builder, so we need to import the package which is com.gwt.user.gw.http. I just want to check once again the location for the. Here we need to import that specific package, because all the files which we define for the request builder comes from the HTTP folder. So that's why we need to specify this one. I just check with the exact location. From here I think it's getting from the default values. If we put some more additional things, so that time it will require. So that is the requirement for the whenever we are going to use this one. So yeah, this is the actual location which is required whenever we are going to. So this is com.google.gwt.http. So here are you correct this one HTTP. Okay, so at the same at server side we are using the response.getWriter. At the client it comes from the client side. We need to create the instance of the request builder, and this builder will contain the reference of your method and the URL which we need to call, and it's also be the based on the async call. So that's why we are providing on response received and on error. If any exception, any problem comes, like servlet is throwing any kind of exceptions, that time the on success will call. So this is the process. So on response received is, here we'll get the response, and after that this time we are getting in the string format, because at server side we write in the response in the form of string. So it's depend what we are returning. If we have any model, so from the response we'll get that even have the attribute any value, so we need to get in the same manner. So this is how as we already discussed about this, and as per the plan we are completed all the things which for the till date now. So today I am going to start with the layout container, and one thing which is missed is the request factory example. So in the later presentation I'll add that one, because for that I need to configure so many things, because we need one database. From the data is going to be displaying on the widgets. So I need the one database. I need the complete UI for that, because as conceptual wise we already discussed. We have the entity client, and they have the complete set of communication with the server side. So for the implementation perspective wise, just give me some more time so that I'll put one setup for the database, and then we'll communicate with the front end will communicate with the server the same manner. So, and today we'll look at more into the layouts. Basically, the basic thing about the layout is how you are going to be displaying, like arranging your components. That is the basic layouts. So, because why is it required is you have some widgets, and those widgets need to be placed in a proper location. If your location is not be proper and your layout is not correct, so that time the excuse me, so that time that particular widget will not be at the same place. It will be changed. It will move from the different because whatever we are writing is not be specific bound with the single browser. They have the multiple browsers. We are at the running stage, client can use any kind of browsers. So we need to build and we need to use the specific layout container to build application and arrange our widgets. Like I'll give you very small examples. We have, like, even whenever we are starting our application, so all the complete application we need to divide in a different section wise. At suppose in the top level we have company logo, like even our XISS product related logo. So at the top is like kind of header. So, and at the starting we need to distribute the complete application. Okay, this section will appear, this section will comes with the heading part, this contain the container, and the bottom is the copyright information. So every application, not XISS, and any application which we are using is, they have some set of standard and set of display way. So we have some screenshots under to display those information. So with the same, the layout is not like that. You cannot stick with the single layout. It always change as per the requirement. There is no specific configuration for that. If suppose it which layout is used, it's always depends on the requirement. If today I'll say, okay, this layout is good, so every time you cannot use the same layout. You always need to judge on the basis of the requirement. So nobody can say that okay, always use this layout. It depends. Okay, I'm creating one form, so that time we need to use the form layout. That is the best suitable for. Even suppose I'm creating a new like window, and there I'm placing some widgets. So that time, and even the window can be shrink and expand. That time the best way is use the border layout, because border layout is automatically take care about the window size, and it will be shrink and expand. So that's why. And if suppose you need some controls which should be in the flow way, so you can use the flow way. So everything is depends on the requirement. Once the requirement comes, so on the basis of that, when we need to use, I'll show you the list of all layouts. Yeah, Ritesh.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just a small introduction regarding layout and content, because prior 3's GXT 3.0, they have the layouts only. But after from the 3.6 GXT 3.0, they are adding the container, which is they are following the same GWT rule. In that one, sorry, it's more like that. If you are using the border layout and even you are using the flow layout container, that means all the widgets and component will be appear in the flow manner. So they have all predefined methods. We cannot we cannot modify the flow. Whatever the standard which is defined for the layout container, we need to stick with that. So in a one glance, I'll show you one hierarchy. This hierarchy will give you very good idea what are the widgets, what are the layouts, and what are the layout container which we are going to be used. So for all components have the base classes widgets. Okay. Before we are going to be in depth about this hierarchy, I just want to tell you some more things about the layouts. There are so many changes as per the GXT 3.0 to 2.2.5 to 3.0. The difference is prior there is no container, as I already told you. Only there have the layouts. In the layout have the layout data. So here also be the same, but they are for the as per the API wise there are little bit differences. So and the now the complete layout name also be replaced with the, like suppose prior have the border layout. Now the border layout container. So now you have the idea about the layouts. What is the layout is? How?
In simple way, I can say that's the placeholder for putting your widget.
Yes. How your widgets will be displayed in UI. Yes. You are defining the one placement. Okay, once you are adding the component, that will come and appear at the specific location. that is the layout. So for that, GXT 3.0 provide the default layouts. We need to use from that. Okay, so I am able to explain you the hierarchy. The base class has widgets, which is all the widgets are extending from the base class. And now that is have the component and containers. So all three classes, and after that we need to come with the resize container. Why I'm using the resize container is why this GXT explain about this is the parent class of the all layout container is. Reason behind is because whatever the layout you specified, because the resolution is different for the client to client. Even currently my window resolution is different, and someone will use their resolution is quite different. Excuse me. Excuse me. So everything is depending on, because your layout may be resized as per the windows. So that time you no need to worry about that one. You no need to worry about if I'm expanding that UI and my different as per the different browsers. So that time this resize container will take care. For that we have there are so many different classes inside that one. Insert resize container and simple container. So currently we are discussing about the simple containers. That container can be added into the dialog boxes, windows, and even directly in the contained pane also we can add. Because usually when we are going to start any implementation for the application wise, our default container is the contained panel. All the container comes into the contained panel. So here you can see the contained panel is the basic, the contained panel which is very simple, and on top of that we are defining our own layout container. Okay, so here I have some layouts. You can see I'm just going a little bit down in the hierarchy. First one is the border layout container, button group, center layout container, field label, field set, form panel, north south. So excuse me, pop-up, viewport. So these are the basics, simple containers, layout containers. So apart from this also there are some other is accord layout, is more like the I'll discuss one by one. So we'll go with the everyone, but those which are very useful in our actual implementation wise. So we'll discuss one by one, and those which are not be required frequently, we'll see later, because we need to use to for these browsers. And every time whenever we are using, first we the layout will be used on the basis of the requirement only. So blindly don't go with the any browser, any layouts. Always think which layout is very suitable for the requirement. Only then use the corresponding layout. So I'll start with one by one. The first one is border layout container. I'm going to the legacies technology like AWT, Swing. These are the starting technologies for the application development. There also we have the border layout, if you remember. So this border layout, if you remember, there have one north, south, east, west and center part. Remember, if you added a two component in the center, that one is going to overlap to other one. Remember? So here also,
No, correct.
yeah,
We don't have an
idea about that. Okay, no, not an issue. I'll discuss everything about that.
No,
Basically,
you are going through the bottom up, or how you are going for now? As here, there will be lot of things at the top, like layout container, all these research container, simple container, all these things. But we are starting from the border layout container. Why that
even
we have to go
okay,
in which
I am first. I took the resize container because why is it more important is as I told you, whenever we are developing application, user is we have the different browsers. So our most of the concentration on the resizable widgets. The other sections, because most of the part comes into the resize container, and whatever the other like HTML container and the flow layout container is the default container for the any content panel. Whenever directly without applying any layout container, it will automatically by default have the flow layout container. Why I use? Because most of the time you need to stick with these layouts only. The reason behind is, first reason is the different browsers. Second thing is the size is going to be different. Like current my machine resolution is 1280 by 700 something. So later it can be changed with the 13,000. But we need to make a consistent UI for the different. So this will provide that kind of functionality. So you don't need to take care about that. Okay, once the resolution is going to high, how is it looks? So it will take care for that. So that's why my more concentration on the resize containers. Here are the basics layout container which you are mostly using in the development. Apart from that, also be the box layout container, CSS flow layout container, portal layout container. They are also be useful. Like you will use most of the time the toolbar. But that is only required on the few locations once, because in every project hardly have the 1 and 2 toolbars, and internally when we are using, they have the internally some other layouts. So so depends on the requirement. So first of all once you'll understand the basics layout, then after we'll go to the other. That's why, Ritish, I started from here. Then after, and even before that, I need to start with the content panel. Why I am telling about the content panel is the basic container for your whole application. That is the good. If we, at the starting place from wherever we are start the application, if you are all the widgets and all the whole application itself is it into the content panel, that is good. And on top of that you specify some layouts, and internally specify some more layouts step by step. And the second thing which I want to add, as per my experience, which I observe, use the proper layout is the best practices. In the best practices, why I'm telling about this? If suppose I'm using the table, like one more layout is the table layout. I think I'm not able to see over here. Oh, I think in 2.2.5 have one more is a table layout. I think not in this list. In the 2.2.5 have one more layout is the table layout. In the table layout is more similar to the flex table layout of the GWT, where what happening is every control comes into the row and column format. Like in simple words you can say table tr td td or tr td. So your whole layout container comes into the and fit into the table and grid, because you split your complete internally. If you are not using properly table layout, that time it won't work properly. So think first which layout is good for the requirement. If you blindly go, okay, no, we have some more widgets, we better to be placed in this manner. So it's not be fulfilling your complete requirement. It always good if you are using the proper layout for that. That's why. So content panel is your basic, and it should be Z index is less. For your content panel, Z index should be less. And like the window, like frame panel, dialog should be high. Your Z index size always high for the window and dialog boxes. Why? Because those are always on the top of the Z index position. Why I am telling about the Z index is because these comes through notifying the user. Otherwise we are getting some inputs from the user. Mostly the dialogs and windows are used for getting some input from the user, displaying some information to user, and notifications. So these Z index comes. So the container
Z index in the sense it will become on the top.
Yes, and everything is depend on the position of your container. Because if your Z index is higher, so the whatever your basic container will not be responding till you will not be close the front Z index value. So for later for this we'll in the implementation mode we'll look at this one. Like other have the framed panel and portlet also. So no, I don't have much idea about the portlet. I think this is the new feature is added in GXT 3.0. Okay, I'll search out and then we'll let you know. Otherwise, I'll discuss with the basics one. Even is it required really? Then I'll add into the upcoming, like I added about the new JE versions. So I'll add this one also. So in the simple container, these are the simple container. In one by one we will discuss. After that we'll go into the insert resize container. Okay, so I think you already have a small idea about the border layout container. Okay, na? So basically it will usable once when your screen you need to be automatically take the size. Like suppose and my widgets are split into the as per the region wise. Region wise is some of the contents come into the north, some of the comes in the west, and some of the comes into the center. I don't need it in the east or south also. So that time also you can use it. So any the place where have the values as per the region wise, that time it's very good. Second thing is, if is it in the window and you apply the border layout container, that time the advantage is once your window size going to be decreased, your like increase or decrease, your widgets will not be expand on the basis of that one. and expand or shrink on the basis of the layouts. It will automatically take care for that. Otherwise, most of the time what happen is, okay, once the window size is going to be expand, that time the widgets is going to also be the expanded. Otherwise they are, if we specify the specific size, that time it will looks on the same position, rest of the part is empty. So we need to be used in such a manner that it will work for all the cases. So the layout container is useful on only on those cases. As in the starting I showed you one example here. Yeah, here you can see, for this border layout container, create the instance of the layout container, and we are just setting the true value for that. And after that I created some more widgets for that, and I specify like north have the, I am setting the, this one is the set north widget, west widget, south widget, east widget, and center widgets, what comes on which place. So this is how I'm going to add those complete the widgets. It will be displayed in this. And for the UI, shall I run this? Okay, which is my entry point classes. From here also we can run. Okay, if it comes, if everything is fine.
The debug one is working.
Oh, I think. Oh no, I
You
think.
have to uncomment.
Commented that part. I need to uncomment in that. New project.
No.
Here I need to uncomment all this part. Send button. I don't need this. As you can see here, we have the, okay, some placement is different. Like once I'll resize this browser size, the component are strict with the size wise, and we can specify this one also with the as per the size. If we want to be resized on the basis of the browser size, we can do that. So this is just a simple example for the border layout. And now we'll look at it one by one. Button group. This is usable when we have the more than one button, and like we have one dialog box, and at the downside we need save, okay, cancel, all three button in a sequence. So that time we will use this one. So here I have the complete. I'll show you in the demo how it looks and where we need to use it. So yes. So in this code I can show you. Where is that? I think in this. So here also you can see like in the clipboard have the multiple buttons. So here you can see there are the copy me. There are so many buttons and all together. For this code wise, I'll show you. Like here all the button comes in the same manner. We can group these one in the source. We here have the like button group. In the group one we are at the clipboard. We are adding this. Yeah, here are the group, and in the clipboard we are adding the toolbar.add group. So for this panel we are specifying the layout is for this panel toolbar.add for this group type. So this is our create multi. We have the panel. At the end we are returning this one. We are returning this panel. Internally for the internal panel we are specifying the button group layout for this, and like you can see the get toolbar.add group, and after that this panel like internally using the flags table. In the group we are adding the flags table, adding the buttons menu, more options into that. Okay, so with this whenever we are using the button, so even we can use any manner. It's not be specific with the single way. How we need to place the buttons, in that manner we are going to use that one. It's clear. If you for the more
in the code, you have something that extends the content panel.
Yes. The content panel in the starting, if you come to the hierarchy, that is your in simple words I'll say the placeholder. That is the main your container, which contains all the child component.
You mean to say we have to extend any of these?
No, like
containers whenever you are creating something.
Yeah, whenever you are creating the widgets, for better to use even we can customize our own container also. It's not to be mandatory to use the content panel. If suppose how like this is the basic class for all the container. Okay, so later if you want to make your own, like I'm creating my collection policy like heat map. So for that we need the one content panel. Into that we need to add the heat map grader. So with this layout content panel also we will work.
No, the question was like, why can't you instantiate the content panel and then add all these things within that in order to customize as per our requirements? Like for example, add all those buttons to a particular panel and then add that in turn to a content panel.
Content panel itself is a panel.
Okay. So
in that
something within that, you are extending that and then add it, right?
The advantage with the extend is whenever you are creating this class instance, wherever it's not be mandatory over here, anywhere wherever you will use, so that will automatically give the container functionality to you, and you can use that one for any other location also. So once you are going to be extending, so all the functionalities directly comes up, and you just need to add your internal components, internal widgets into that. That's all.
Okay, so these methods like create multi to so what are we actually overriding from the content panel? So for example, you are making use of set pixel size, which is from this content panel, correct?
This is that's why. Otherwise, how do you set your pixel sizes?
No,
Here,
I'm asking.
this is method coming from the content panel.
Yeah, like that. What are the other methods that are coming from the content panel?
So for that, we'll look at the content panel API. There have the So the basic is set heading, set size, position, collapsible, frame, body style, like header. In the header we need to add any tool, so tool, add text, button, even you can customize that one also. Like at the heading you need it treats like a dialogue, so
Okay.
put it that. Otherwise you need the simple, the heading will be false, you just use the container. So here there are so many methods. So this is whenever we required, we need to find out which method we need to use that one. Like the element value for the rendering perspective wise, okay, before rendering you need do any operation on that. So this is, you can see the list complete. There's so many, on top of that there are so many events. So these are the events for that, and these all are the methods.
All these things are internally added to a flow layout container.
No, flow layout, it's a kind of default layout. If you didn't pass any layout, that time it will comes in the flow manner. If you are passing any your own specific layout, then it will.
But here in this example,
Yes.
we are adding it into a flow layout container.
Yes. So manually you are calling that one, huh? If there is no.
So why flow layout container?
Some of the places, if you don't specify any layout, directly the GXT shows you the umbrella exceptions. So better is, otherwise the placement is not proper. So the best practice is you use any one of layout into the any container, so that your widgets will be appear in a,
instead of flow layout container we can use any other thing.
any other layouts also may. So that's depend on your requirement. Suppose your requirement comes in the tabular form, you need like flex table. So for this, even the best thing is if you go into the like card layout. So this is how here I'm taking this example like this, the border layout, no?
Okay.
So here you have the different sections, no? This is east and west. So from here, like east, I want to be hide this one, this part.
Okay.
East one. So with this you can hide this one.
Fine.
So all are the layouts, like you can show this one. So you can set any one of layout. These are the just examples. Apart from that also there are so many other layouts also. Like here in this, why we are using this example demo is there are already predefined functionality, like code is already written, so we are taking the reference from here, and whenever is it required in the implementation, we'll just get the reference and directly we will go for the implementation. Okay, like my requirement comes and I need to be implemented in such a manner, so I'll implement in that way. So that is the thing. So you got my point now. So, and one thing is like, it's no doubt it's not be the straightforward. There are so many layouts and some even as I told you, I didn't work much on the GXT 3.0 because like I know the 2.2.5, the layouts are different, but the functionality is little bit different. As the no, for the layout wise there is no much difference. The container was just added the container, and the like previously they have the two argument for specifying the location. Now they created their own method, set north widget, set north, set south. So prior have the order like the border layout instance dot add, and there you have to pass your first widgets, comma, the second your is the border layout data dot your type of region, like north where you want it, south, east, west. So that is the differences. So like for all widgets, that's why I'm taking the help from this demo. And for me, like you, but like what I'm doing is over here is I'm discussing about the layouts and how we need to use in the GXT and how is it different from the other languages. More concentration on that. Even we'll look at one by one for the other layouts also. Just now we'll look at the button grouping. The center layout container is useful when is like suppose I have one content panel and on top of that I need to show one dialog box. Otherwise I need to add some information from the user. So this center layout container will automatically put your container into the center location. For this we have a very small example. Even I'll open this center layout container. Here you can see it's placed at the center location in the code. If you see, like this is a content panel. In the content panel, like in the starting we created the instance of the center layout container, and after that what we are doing is we created one content panel. In the content panel dot add we are specifying some position, but the end what we did is our center layout container dot add. So the container will containing this the content panel. So whenever we are adding the new information, like inside we are added some label, so that label comes only at the center location. Like in this demo we can see. So here I have the center layout and it should be centered. So it's always automatically arrange your widgets as per the window size. So at that place is it very useful. Okay, so this is one more, like in this you can see this one. And apart from that, the next one is like the field label is useful when you have one like text box, check box, combo box, and your field, like for the specific field you need one text box, like information, like I have one text box, but how we are going to be denoting what value will comes into the text box. For that field, for that widget have one label, like enter your name. So prior we are creating one label, and then we are creating the field text box, and we are arranging in the horizontal panel, and we are placing, okay, first is label, then second is text box. So in that case what happens is the screen is going up and down. That time the first label will be, sometime it's wrapped it, otherwise sometime it's going to overlap to the text box. So but when we are using the, and sometime what happen is label is going little bit down and text box is high, not always in the center position, but the field label is directly attached with your text